Vijay Mantri, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Pramerica Mutual Funds, joins us live. Vijay, morning. Thank you for joining us. Vijay, it's been a volatile August for Indian markets. First we cracked sharply and then we recovered very smartly. So what is the real market? The market which we reported last week when Nifty had cracked below 50,300, or the market which we are reporting this week?
I think the market all along for maybe last couple of quarters has been moving in the range, and we believe that it will continue to move in the range. The broader market will move in the range, but that doesn't mean that one cannot make money even in this market. So we don't think the market is going to go up substantially from these levels. At the same time, we don't see the market is coming down substantially from these levels. We have, if you see, for almost 3-4 weeks, we have tightening on the shorter rate. We have also seen the tightening by central bank, and that has spooked the interest rate at the shorter end by 300 basis points. We've also seen the huge depreciation of Indian rupee. In spite of all these macro challenges, I think the market held itself pretty nicely. And if you see from the peak, the market may be down just 10%. So the reason is that the valuations of the markets are very attractive. And within that, I think, as we have been talking all along, this market is actually built up of two markets. There are stocks which are available at the historical high valuation, and at the same time there are stocks which are available at the valuation which are lower than 2008, and I think this trend will continue.
Vijay, what's the call then on IT, considering that has been one pack which has been making fresh highs on a daily basis? Is there still time to get into any of the stocks and see further headroom?
No, I think it is, in our opinion, and the way our portfolio has been constructed, that for last couple of quarters we have been overweight on the IT, and for very simple reason that one is the earlier Indian IT company had two problems. One is that the top line was not growing because the global economy was not doing too well, and at the same time, because of inflation in the Indian economy, the salary used to go up, so their margin used to get compressed. Now both these things actually removed. Now the global economy is doing much better than what people has expected, so the top line will continue to grow. At the same time, today it is not the situation where the employees can demand higher wage packages. So the margins of these companies are growing, and at the same time rupee is depreciating. So we continue to believe that Indian IT company which are not leveraged and which are a positive play on depreciating of Indian rupee will continue to provide the return to the investor.
Vijay, but is the large cap IT now becoming like a crowded trade? And every time when the trade gets crowded, the problem is that crowded trades never make money. We've seen a similar crowding happening in staples, and then we saw similar crowding happening in financials.
I think the business model of financials had too many variables. One was that the huge NPA challenges. Now with this IT company, we don't see any of these challenges. There's no, the policy doesn't play that important role. On the contrary, the more mess up the policymaker make on the macro, I think it benefit IT company. So it is actually very ironical, but it's true that the more mess up you make on the policy front, the IT company become very attractive. At the same time, their valuations are not as high as the valuation we see in FMCG company, where the FMCG company, we clearly see the fault line as far as the top line is concerned because of rising inflation. So given in this situation where non-IT company and particularly companies in the old economy or the mid-cap stocks are tumbling 20 to 30% by weeks, I think it is a safe harbor to put yourself in. So that is the reason that we believe that the Indian IT company will continue to provide value, good opportunity to the investors.
Vijay, what's the call then on metals? Do you think this trade of metals actually gaining strength is going to last for too long, or do you sense that another 2 to 3% in most of these stocks and we would see a bout of profit taking coming in?
No, I think metal is a very, I don't think it is going to be a core holding for many investment managers. I think it will be more of a trading call where we see the opportunity to make money. And it is in a way indirect play on the currency depreciation. So we do not think the metals are a big long-term idea right now unless we see a huge improvement in the global GDP where it will drive the demand for the metal. We don't see that trend happening right now, so it will remain a trading idea.
Vijay, I would like to draw your attention to private banks. Now, PSU banks are suffering because of NPA concerns and the fact that the entire book value for some of these PSU banks could get challenged because of rising NPAs. But why are well-managed private banks suffering?
I think if you see result of couple of leading private sector bank, first time they have seen some fault line on the NPA and there's been concern on the rising NPA. The second thing is that these banks are largely owned by, or FI holding is pretty high in these banks. And if you see last few week or so, the FI has been seller, so you sell what is making money for you. So these banks made huge money for these guys. And they were available at very high valuation compared to the public sector bank. So these are the 3-4 region the private sector bank has not done as well. But we think that with the rising interest rate, the loan of these banks get repriced, and we still believe that the private sector bank will continue to deliver superior investment performance for the investor because they don't have large corporate book. Many private sector banks don't have a large corporate book. The CASA balance is very good. And earlier when you could put overnight money at 4% and 4.5% to 5%, and you pay 4% of the CASA balances, now the overnight money you can put at 7.5%, 8%, 1 month money you can put at 11 to 12%. So these guys' bottom line is going to improve quite significantly. So we believe that within the private sector bank, well-managed private sector bank will continue to do well.
Which of late one has begun to see some moves coming in the cap goods space as well. BHEL, for instance, has had a hard run up the last 2 trading sessions. Anything that you like out of that sector?
No, I think if you look from a valuation perspective, all these ideas looks very attractive. But until and unless one see the revival of investment cycle, I think the order book of these companies will continue to struggle. So I think when we see the revival of the investment cycle, perhaps at that time when the tide is about to turn, that perhaps is the time to own these stocks in a portfolio. But if you are a value investor is not looking at the stock for next 3 to 5 years, I think these are very interesting idea one could have in the individual portfolio. But as a fund manager, we are always compared with a peer group and compared with the benchmark. So perhaps that is the one reason that many fund managers are avoiding these kind of stocks right now.
Vijay, so let's talk about sectoral allocation. IT currently has a 15% weightage on Nifty 50 and banks they still enjoy 27-28% weightage on the Nifty 50. So how are you allocating capital in these 2 large sectors in relationship to the Nifty?
I think we are overweight. We are overweight actually on the IT and we are underweight on the banking. We are overweight on the pharma and the rest of the sector we are underweight. So we are clearly looking at the company which are not leveraged. They don't have overseas debt position and companies which are going to have a positive benefit of depreciation of currency, which we believe that Indian currency will continue to depreciate over a period of time. So you need to own companies which are going to benefit out of it. So very clearly, we believe that the pharmaceutical company and IT company will continue to do well, and select auto company will continue to do well. And very interesting observation you might have heard from many people that around 55% of the Nifty turnover come from the export market or from the international currency. So what we clearly see that from these time onward, I think the market will deliver better investment performance compared to say any other investment product available. I think for next 6 to 12 months you will see debt market delivering very good investment performances, but I think 2 to 3 years is a period where one could look at allocating resources to the equity market. I also understand that the Indian investor has put money for last 5 years is completely tired and taking money out, but I think this is not the time to take money out and put in the real estate or gold or somewhere else.
Vijay, what is your take on the global setup? Do you think the Fed tapering fears are slightly overdone and emerging markets are now pricing in not tapering and tightening, and eventually when tapering will start we could see a relief rally?
I don't think the tapering is in our opinion that big a risk. I think perhaps the money would move from debt to equity. So in our opinion, tapering is first of all is not going to be a shock kind of thing. On the contrary, when we have the final news about the tapering, I think the market may see some relief rally. So we do not see tapering is a big concern in our opinion. Secondly, if you look at FI allocation, I think the most of the money has gone out from the debt rather than from equity. And third factor, which is very important, is that if you look at Indian equities and FI is investing at $65, I think the market is looking much cheaper to them. So I do not think that significant amount of money is going to go out of Indian equity. However, we have to struggle harder to get fresh allocation. I think that will remain a challenge.
Vijay, within the private banking space, what do you like? Because we can easily divide the private banking space into 2 or 3 categories. One, the large cap names, Axis Bank and ICICI Bank. Then you've got new private banks like Yes Bank, IndusInd Bank and ING Bank. And then you've got the old private sector banks like Federal Bank and Karur Vysya Bank.
No, I think right now we are focusing more on the large cap bank where the CASA is high compared to total liabilities of the bank and less exposure to the corporate and more exposure to SMEs and the individual and personal loan and the company which have a robust fee income. So if you look at that, then we look at well-entrenched banks. So where we are overweight on these kind of bank and underweight on the smaller bank because they depend a lot on overnight money, short-term money to fund their requirement. And when the interest rate shot up by 300 basis points, I think these banks had some problem or pressure because they were borrowing money in the short end. So we are looking at the bank which have a long-term funding tied up to lend money, have a higher CASA balance and have a good fee income. So this is where we are positioned as on date.
Before we allow you to go, what are your thoughts on the food security bill? Yes, it is more like a populist measure. Do you think food security bill is really going to damage the macros further, or the passing of food security bill yesterday in the Lok Sabha is not a big surprise because markets knew that it was always coming?
No, I think when the UPA government has decided as a part of its manifesto, they are going to push it. I think the incremental allocation, in my opinion, is going to be 40,000 crores. So I think food security bill in isolation is not a worrying thing, but you can continue the food security bill and the subsidy provided you expand the GDPs, your tax collections are robust. I think we clearly see challenges there. I think the current account deficit was triggered by fiscal indiscipline, and I think that is the reason that we have currency depreciations and all these kind of things. I think all these measures can be taken forward provided you improve the manufacturing base of the economy. We had Raksha Bandhan few days back and we are going to have a Ganpati coming forward. And now all the Rakhis and Ganeshas are being imported. So we are in this kind of situation. So I think the focus has to shift from finance to commerce and one need to improve the commerce. I do not think the food security bill per se is going to have a huge impact on the markets or economy alone. But I think if you combine various the dole out schemes, then I think it have a cascading effect on the economy as far as the macro is concerned.